Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, my ears are still ringing and my throat's still a bit sore from yesterday's after party, but I'm still buzzing from the content of that chat. In fact, that extended discussion about skills and the need to inspire more people to join the industry kept me awake for a large part of last night, and it's going to shape the next new development of this show, but more of that later. Our show today is filled to bursting point with demolition and construction sticky goodness. So, without further ado, let's roll that intro and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Friday the 13th of August, unlucky for some, and as that tired looking guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, the unsanctionable cost of major sporting events. Caterpillar is to take a Bauma backseat. Liebherr has added a Leica twist to its rental fleet, and the process of dust suppression makes tracks. If you've got any comments or questions about any of this or anything else, to be honest, please leave it in the chat, and we'll get to it just as soon as we can, probably in the after party afterwards. But first, let's see which famous folks were born unto the world on this day in history. And its many happy returns to sharpshooter Annie Oakley, to the inventor of the television and, by association, the destroyer of conversation, John Logie Baird, to film directors Alfred Hitchcock and Paul Greengrass, to Cuban leader Fidel Castro, to Undertones leader Fergal Sharkey, and to the dance superstar Phil the Power Taylor, and to the unstoppable goal machine that is Mr. Alan Shearer. Many happy returns to them, one and all. Did you watch any of the Tokyo Olympics? If you did, you will know it was an absolutely stunning event. And even the lack of crowds couldn't detract from the incredible athletic achievements and the sportsmanship on display. Tokyo, like Rio and London before it, will now inherit a legacy of magnificent stadia and upgraded infrastructure that will serve the city for generations to come. But what of the human cost? Sadly, from a constructionist perspective, the Summer and Winter Olympic Games all too often come at a high human price. According to research conducted by Rhino Safety, there have been 116 construction-related fatalities tied to the Olympics in the last 30 years. 70 fatalities were reported during the construction of the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi in Russia, marking it as the country with the most deaths in the last 30 years. That puts it ahead of the 14 fatalities recorded for the 2004 Summer Olympics in Athens. In contrast, and this is quite nice from an English perspective, London 2012 is considered the safest Olympic build in history. It recorded 0 fatalities with a reported injury rate of 0.17 per 100,000 man-hours. According to the report, Olympic Games are often awarded 7 or 8 years beforehand. They're then expected to be completed within a tight deadline and an even tighter budget, which means that construction projects are operating under a significant amount of pressure. As history has shown, it often comes at the cost of health, safety, and even human lives. Tight timelines, even tighter budgets, contract rights, national and international oversight, labour rights, economic pressure and a need to boost their international reputation often means that pressure is piled on, corners can be cut and rules and essential practices are ignored just to make sure the targets are hit, the report says. This often means that basic health and safety protocols aren't followed, ethical practices are ignored, labour and employment rights are infringed, project management suffers, and that injuries and fatalities are underreported or swept under the carpet completely. Sadly, those issues are not limited just to the Olympic Games. A report from The Guardian recently revealed that as many as 6,596 migrant workers have died in Qatar since the World Cup was awarded. The average number of goals scored at a World Cup is 121. If that's the case, Qatar has already cost 55 deaths per goal so far. I find that hard to tolerate, even as a die-hard football fan who genuinely looks forward to the World Cup each and every year.
Miller GT Series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
Caterpillar has announced that the Zeppelin, its dealer for Germany and 12 other countries in Europe and Eurasia, will display Cat construction equipment at Bauma 2022. Previously, the two companies had a joint stand at the world's leading trade fair, but for the 2022 show, which will be held from the 24th to the 30th of October 2022, Zeppelin is assuming responsibility for the construction equipment display. A statement from Zeppelin says, "Our commitment to Bauma is a clear signal to our customers in Germany, Europe and Eurasia that you can rely on Zeppelin." Caterpillar says, "We know that the Zeppelin team will create an outstanding experience at the 2022 Bauma." In light of the news that JCB, JLG, Metso and Volvo are not planning to exhibit at the Bauma show, it's reassuring to see that Caterpillar is continuing to support the exhibition, albeit in a slightly different way this time around. 2 years ago, just before the world went completely mental and international travel became a thing of distant memory, I went to Japan. I was there as part of a European Demolition Association study tour to look at how demolition was undertaken in the country. It was, without question, the most fascinating trip of my entire career. In fact, I actually wrote a book about it. And if you'd like to drop me an email, I'll gladly send you a copy with my compliments. I got to see up close and personal the procedures and the equipment used by Japanese demolition contractors. One of the most interesting of those was the use of small track-mounted telescopic cranes equipped with dust suppression units. Not only could these machines be deployed and moved easily and quickly, for me they really encapsulated the very essence of Japanese demolition culture. Dust is a problem, and that problem requires a dedicated solution. And that's the sight of those machines has stuck with me ever since. Now, I know that other demolition contractors outside Japan have tackled the same issue in very different ways. BCS in the US has mounted dust cannons on the booms of several big Caterpillar excavators. And here in the UK, I was on a site with AR Demolition recently, where they were using a modified Manitou telehandler to place a dust suppression unit precisely where it's needed. And then last night I stumbled across a video that, for me at least, brought this line of thinking into sharp focus. Now, I don't know if you've ever actually tried to move a regular dust suppression unit, but take it from me, they are heavy and they are very cumbersome. And that's surely going to lead to some reluctance to deploy and redeploy them as work progresses, or even as the wind shifts. That track-mounted unit from Magirus, Germany, in Germany, could solve that problem in an instant. Now, I realise that particular model was actually designed for firefighting applications. Then again, I've seen converted fire tenders on big demolition projects for years, so it's hardly a big leap for these to become a part of the demolition industry too. And personally, I'd love to see it. The following story is actually more about who's investing rather than who's buying, but we don't have a video transition for that, so just pretend that that didn't happen. Liebherr Rental has beefed up its fleet with the addition of 3 new excavators that feature a first for the business. The 36-ton R934 Generation 8 models are part of a comprehensive fleet update that also sees the arrival of wheel loaders, materials handlers, articulated dump trucks and dozers. To meet differing UK site requirements, the excavators are fitted with cab guarding, high-vis handrails, blue strobes and travel alarm, as well as additional protection such as dipper ram guards, boom and dipper protection. However, the biggest initiative is the inclusion of machine control systems for the first time on Liebherr Rental excavators in the UK. This follows last year's agreement between the manufacturer and Leica Geosystems to offer guidance systems as a factory fit option. The new rental machines were prepared by Leica at Liebherr GP's Biggleswade headquarters as a factory fit standard. The Leica option is apparently the first of 3 control systems coming to the fleet this year. Now, if you'd like to know more about Leica-enabled Leica machines, Liebherr machines rather, our friend and lover of all things technological, Peter Haddock, has actually produced a couple of videos featuring these machines in the past. If I click the right button, I might even be able to share a link to his video so you can go and take a look for yourselves. And I would recommend you do so. As you would expect from Peter, another cracking film, so go take a look, but wait until the show's over. Summerhill Road in Birmingham is to get 226 residential apartments as part of a £25 million redevelopment. Tilbury Douglas is thought to be leading the charge to secure the new build element of the works, but before they or anyone else can get those works underway, there is the small matter of demolishing the buildings that currently reside on the site. At the time of broadcast, and even though Birmingham is literally riddled with top-notch contractors, a demolition firm has yet to be appointed. You can find out more about this project lead and many more just like it over at buildersconference.co.uk. And speaking of the Builders Conference, I was actually speaking to them yesterday evening, and they were telling me about which demolition companies are currently using their services. So if you've ever wondered how your nearest rival seems to be one step ahead on project leads, chances are they're using the Builders Conference system. So go check it out.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
That's pretty much it for this morning's show, and that's pretty much it for this week as well. Our weekly roundup show, The Weekend Wrap, will drop at some ungodly hour tomorrow, and as a bonus, the recording of yesterday's discussions around the subject of the worsening industry skill shortage will land on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram on Sunday morning too, so you can't even escape during the weekend. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before hopping over into the chat to see what's cooking today. I'll also be back here on Monday, same time, same place, for more of this old stuff and nonsense. But until then, have a great day, have a great weekend. Stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends and your colleagues, and thanks for watching.